Hello, welcome back to the channel, and thank you for joining me once again. Today we are diving into a news development that has been causing quite a stir in South Africa and across our borders. It's about Julius Malema and his recent comments regarding Zimbabweans working in South Africa. As always, I encourage you to stay tuned until the end so you can hear the sources of this news and decide for yourself how you feel about it. And before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our updates. Now, let's get straight into it. Julius Malema, leader of the economic freedom fighters, has once again set tongues wagging with his outspoken views. During one of his addresses, he made a strong statement saying, "We aren't saying Zimbabweans shouldn't work, we are saying they must work in Zimbabwe." These words, as you can imagine, have sparked plenty of debates not only in South Africa but also in Zimbabwe and other neighboring countries. The issue of foreign nationals working in South Africa has always been a hot and sensitive topic. South Africa, with its high unemployment rate, is often a place where people feel tensions rise between locals and foreigners when it comes to job opportunities. Malema's words appear to be directed at this exact issue, pointing out that Zimbabweans should focus on building their own economy rather than relying on South Africa for work. But if we take a step back and think about the bigger picture, it's not as simple as just saying Zimbabweans should work in Zimbabwe. For many, Zimbabwe's economy has been in crisis for years, and opportunities there are extremely limited. This is why so many people cross into South Africa, not because they want to take away jobs, but because they want to survive, feed their families, and create some sort of stable life. It becomes a question of survival, not just choice. At the same time, South Africans are also struggling. Our unemployment numbers remain worryingly high, especially among the youth. Many locals feel that when foreign nationals take up jobs, particularly in sectors like construction, hospitality, domestic work, and retail, it reduces their own chances of employment. This tension creates a clash between two groups of people who are both trying to make a living under very difficult circumstances. Malema's comment seems to sit right in the middle of that storm. One important thing to note is that Malema himself has often been known to defend foreign nationals in South Africa in the past. There have been moments where he called out xenophobia and urged South Africans not to turn against fellow Africans. But now, with this particular statement, it seems like he's taking a tougher stance, focusing on the need for Zimbabweans to build their livelihoods back home. Some people see this as him shifting position, while others believe he's simply highlighting the importance of national self-reliance. If you listen carefully, the heart of his message is not only about Zimbabweans but also about leadership and accountability. The situation in Zimbabwe has pushed thousands across the border in search of survival. Malema's point could be interpreted as a call for Zimbabwean leaders to fix their economy so that their citizens don't need to depend on South Africa for work. And that raises a fair question: should South Africa be the safety net every time a neighboring country faces hardship? On the ground, though, ordinary South Africans have mixed feelings. Some agree with Malema, saying it's time for Zimbabweans to work in their own country. They argue that South Africa's resources are overstretched, with high unemployment, strained healthcare, and pressure on housing and education. Others, however, take a more sympathetic view, reminding us that these are human beings seeking survival, and that we as Africans should support one another rather than pushing each other away. This debate doesn't only affect the political landscape, it affects real families. You might have a South African domestic worker who feels her wages are being undercut because an employer can hire a foreign national for less money. At the same time, you might have a Zimbabwean woman who sends a portion of her small salary back home to feed her children. Both are struggling, both are trying to survive. That's where the tension becomes so complex. It's also worth mentioning that Malema is a master of making statements that spark conversation. Whether you love him or not, his words carry weight, and they often lead to national debates. Some South Africans feel he's simply speaking the truth that many are too afraid to say, while others think he's stirring up division at a time when we should be working together. Looking at the regional context, Zimbabwe's situation is not an isolated issue. Many African countries have seen their citizens leave home to find opportunities elsewhere. South Africa has become a key destination because of its relatively larger economy. But the reality is, South Africa itself is battling with massive unemployment and service delivery problems, making it difficult to welcome large numbers of migrants without challenges. So where does this leave us? Malema's statement may seem blunt, but it also highlights the bigger challenge of leadership and development in Africa. Until countries like Zimbabwe are able to create enough jobs and opportunities at home, their citizens will continue to cross borders in search of a better life. South Africa will continue to feel the pressure, and political leaders will continue to be caught between compassion and protecting their own citizens' interests. At the end of the day, Malema's comment, "We aren't saying Zimbabweans shouldn't work, we are saying they must work in Zimbabwe," is more than just a catchy line. It reflects a deep frustration many South Africans feel, but it also brings out the struggles of ordinary Zimbabweans who just want a chance at life. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think this debate is going to end anytime soon. It's one of those ongoing issues that will always spark passion and sometimes anger. But maybe the real solution lies in African leaders finding ways to strengthen their economies so people don't feel forced to leave home just to survive. Until then, the tension is likely to continue. Before I wrap up, I'll add a little light note because this topic can feel heavy. You know, sometimes it feels like South Africa is that one friend in the group who everyone borrows money from, but then never pays back. And after a while, that friend gets tired, says, "Guys, please, I can't carry you all anymore." Maybe that's where South Africa is right now. And Malema is just saying it loudly the way only he can. So, what do you think? Do you agree with Malema that Zimbabweans should work in Zimbabwe, or do you feel there should be more compassion for our neighbors who are struggling? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. Sources: Times Live, EWN, The Citizen, Daily Maverick, SABC News.